So, as promised in our video the other day, we need to dive into the Magic Man. The last video spoke about Pavel Datsyuk and his commentary on Montreal Canadiens young star Ivan Demidov and Leon Draisaitl. But in this video, we are taking things back to the local Detroit beat, because this article by Sergei Demidov on rg.org on August 11th dives into some bold Pavel Datsyuk Detroit discourse. This is all prior to Datsyuk's hosting of the Magic Game in Yekaterinburg, which will feature NHL stars like Kovalchuk, Kaprizov, and Fedorov. This is, of course, the same article that we looked at the other day, except we're going to be focusing on the Detroit stuff rather than the McDavid, Draisaitl, and Demidov stuff. I thought that this was as bold of a claim as you can get, that it deserves its own video. So let's go out there and talk about some of these takeaways on the article, which will be linked in the description, by the way. Pavel Datsyuk believes that Detroit's rebuild is taking longer due to their long run of dominance, but he predicts a conference final berth by 2026. Okay, that's a lot. That's really, really bold, Pavel. I mean, the guy was a bold hockey player, probably the player with the best hands the NHL has ever seen. But let's dive into this over here. The Red Wings lack standout leaders. Okay, that's definitely a way to start things out here. In the summer of 2024, Pavel Datsyuk returned to the Red Wings, the club he had starred for from 2001 to 2016, attending their development camp. It was an interesting experience for me, and I hope for them too, he says. Detroit, once the NHL's model franchise with 25 straight playoff appearances and Stanley Cups in 97, 98, 02, and 08, remains in a drawn-out rebuild. They missed the postseason again in 24-25, their 9th straight absence, despite late-season wins over playoff teams like New Jersey. Young stars Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider give hope, but the climb back is steep. The Red Wings were at the top for a long time, winning so many titles, so it's understandable that their rebuild is taking more time than usual, Datsyuk explains. They say a rebuild takes about 7 years, but since Detroit was so high up, the road back to the top takes even longer. Now, Detroit has a great arena, which is already a big plus. Perhaps what the team lacks is standout leaders, but that's true not only for Detroit. It applies to hockey in general. Players are maturing more slowly these days, and some never mature at all, staying teenagers forever. Now, this is a really interesting perspective. I get that it's really like, old man yells at a cloud type of energy from Pavel Datsyuk, but it's an interesting way to think about NHL players and stars. I don't know if it's because I'm super young. I was born in 2000, so I didn't see a lot of the primes of a lot of these guys from yesteryear, but when you think about 20 years ago, you think about 30 years ago, you think about the guys who are at the top of the NHL, leaders like Peter Forsberg and Sakic and Steve Yzerman, these guys were, just the aura surrounding these guys were so incredible. And that's not to dismiss the aura and the feeling that you get out of guys like McDavid or, keeping it local with Detroit, Dylan Larkin nowadays. But I think it's an interesting perspective that, the NHL is lacking standout leaders at this time. Applying to hockey in general, players are maturing slowly and some never mature at all. Some players stay teenagers forever. I don't know about you, but when I read this, I was kind of thinking of Trevor Zegras. I don't know why. That is a total unrelated thought that I just wanted to share out there with y'all on this video commentary. But do you agree with this? Do you think that the Red Wings lack standout leaders? I guess they have Kane. I guess they have Larkin, right? JVR could be seen as a standout leader. But other than that, Lucas Raymond, I think he can be a leader. He's just a little young, so maybe it's not like he's a standout leader in the same way that Henrik Zetterberg was, for example. Let's scroll down over here and read more thoughts on Pavel Datsyuk's Red Wings. Today, the Wings are built by familiar hands. Stevie Y is the GM, and Nick Lidstrom in hockey ops. They keep the core principles that made them champions, but are building the team according to modern hockey trends, Datsyuk says. You can't do it the old way anymore. The game has changed a lot. The rules, the business, and the style of play. I hope they're starting slow now, but will speed up soon. Captain Dylan Larkin is now the face of the team. Datsyuk played along him in Larkin's rookie year. It's hard to give advice when I haven't seen him in 10 years. I played with him when he was still very young. A lot of time has passed. He stands out now, already an experienced and mature player. He understands everything. As a team, the Red Wings probably just lack confidence. Okay, that's a way to sugarcoat it. Not, Pavel, but yeah, I won't necessarily disagree here. If you scroll down to the bottom, this is where the big bold prediction comes in from Pavel Datsyuk. Looking ahead to 2026, he offers a bold forecast. Here's my prediction. Detroit will reach the conference final. As for Florida, which has already won 2 Stanley Cups, it'll be hard to win a third in a row. I think it'll be very difficult for them, partly because of the short summer, and also because motivation won't be quite the same. So there you go, eh? Detroit will reach the conference finals by 2026. Well, guess what? It's 2025 right now? 2026? You think this upcoming season the Red Wings are going to reach the conference finals? Okay, I'm not going to go out there and say that I don't think it's going to happen, but wow, this team right here, a conference finals, third round caliber team, I mean, everything would have to go perfectly, would it not? You would have to get stellar goaltending out of John Gibson, which is very well possible as long as he stays healthy. You would need somebody to step up on defense to take the load off of Mo Seider's shoulders. You would need Edvinsson to fully take that next step to get to Seider caliber. You would need Ben Sherratt to start being a little bit more responsible. Albert Johansson needs to take a step. As for the top guys on the forward core, Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin, yeah, these guys are going to have to do the same thing that they've been doing, maybe just a little bit more, though. Marco Kasper needs to take a step. Kane and DeBrincat need to get that chemistry. The bottom 6 needs to be as solid as ever. The penalty kill needs to improve. There's a lot that needs to go perfectly for Detroit if they're going to make the third round. Might I remind you, this team was barely on the outside looking in the past few years. In 24-25, Detroit missed the wild card by 5 points. A pretty disappointing result for their season when you consider the fact that the year before, they missed the wild card by just 1 point. They were tied with Washington at the end of 23-24 and making the playoffs. They only ended up missing because John Tortorella ended up pulling the goalie in regulation. It was kind of weird to see that go down and to give Washington that extra point they needed to get the overtime decision. But might I remind you, the Red Wings actually had more wins than the Washington Capitals did in that 23-24 campaign. We all recognize, though, that Washington became very, very good shortly after, so are the Red Wings on the same path? Who really knows? But this most recent season saw Washington totally dominate. They had 111 points. Meanwhile, the Red Wings were at 86. They were, 6th in the Atlantic Division. It's very hard to make the playoffs as a 6th-ranked team, just better than Buffalo and Boston. So Detroit definitely has a tough hill to climb if they want to firstly make the playoffs, let alone make the third round. I mean, Pavel Datsyuk's going to go out there and say what it is he wants to say. I don't think he's pandering to the Red Wings fans just because he wants to get a nice moment of elegance there. But it is interesting to hear that take. Whether or not he fully believes it in his heart of hearts, that remains to be seen. But this is his very bold prediction. Will Detroit reach the conference final? Do you agree with Pavel Datsyuk? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this British Rolls 99. And bye.